The Square Ball Podcast.
Well, hello to you. Welcome to The West Stand, our guest-led show here on The Square Ball. When the season picks back up, you'll find it on a Monday and Friday in both YouTube and in your podcast app as well. Dan here with Dean today. Hello, Dino.
Hello, mate.
NordVPN. You know VPNs, very popular at the minute if the government's introduced new legislation that you're not happy with.
Yeah, well, it's been in the news, certainly, so now's the time to buy.
Yeah, nordvpn.com/TSB to get our exclusive deal. It's bonus months on top of the 2-year deal. Tell me why I need a VPN, Dean, apart from maybe to deal with legislation you're not that fond of.
It's all about peace of mind, Dan. Listen, if you want to get the threat protection feature, it's on there. If you want to switch your virtual location so you can save money by purchasing flights, hotel subscriptions from other countries at a cheaper price, you're all over it. So it's peace of mind, and it's for saving money, which we love to do on this show.
Definitely, yeah. And if you want to cock a snoot to your government, there are many ways you can do it. This is probably one that's least likely to land you in any trouble at all. Yeah, have a look at that exclusive discount on your NordVPN plan. nordvpn.com/TSB, and it's backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee as well, so it's totally risk-free. nordvpn.com/TSB. There's a link in the episode description box as well. And we welcome back our guest for today, former Leeds United left-back, title-winning left-back at that, Tony DORIGO. Hello, how are you, sir? You all right?
I am very good. I'm waiting for the start of the new season like everyone else is.
Yeah, getting sick of playing golf, I presume, this summer.
I am. My handicap's going down. It's really boring, that is. Let's get back onto the football.
Sounds like a terrible life, doesn't it? Quick plug for the Belfast event. You are flying out there. It's today as this goes out. If this goes out on Friday, you are doing a show there?
I am, myself and Stuart Dallas, which is fantastic. And Theatre at the Mill in Belfast, just outside Belfast, yeah. And a load of Leeds United supporters will be there. And I'm looking forward to getting on the stage with Stuart and reminiscing.
Raconteurs. And then are you heading south for the game on Saturday?
That would be the sensible thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But no, I'm flying back to Leeds and going to be commentating on the game from Elland Road.
Right.
Yes.
How does that work?
With great difficulty.
Okay.
Okay.
So is it like us where we watch it on telly and I shout things at the screen?
And I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just from a more informed point of view.
Well, it's more difficult because you haven't then got the whole vision of what you're seeing. So I can't look at the depth of the back four and what have you. I'm just seeing exactly what you're seeing. So hopefully they film it or cover it well so I can see all the stuff. But yeah, that's what we're doing.
But you get to see Bryn again. And that's the important thing.
Which is always a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you say so.
In my head, you're still on the gantry for this. You just got that tiny little telly in front of you. You can have a better.
No, we've got a better one. You know, we've got the LU TV studio, which has got a gigantic screen. In fact, it's the exact opposite. The screen is probably 6 foot by 4 foot, right. And I have to sit right back in the room so I can see it all. But yeah, big screen. Don't worry.
It's just like COVID times, isn't it? We could pipe in crowd noise. Hopefully we should get some because it's going to be it'll be a good game, I think, from a Leeds perspective. Loads of people are going to be there in the Aviva on Saturday, and it's the final act of pre-season. I was going to ask you. Obviously, you've got experience of pre-season. When you get into this final week, what are you doing as part of your pre-season prep at this stage as a pro?
I think what's really important is you're now starting to feel sharp. You're starting to feel like you're ready to go. You're ready to explode. Whereas at the previous games, you're getting through them. All you're doing is making sure you can somehow get through without any injury, and hopefully you start feeling better and better. But one game to go, you're thinking, okay, I'm starting to feel sharp now. I'm starting to feel good. Obviously, you've worked hard on the training ground in a tactical way, and make sure you understand every single thing that you're going to be trying to implement. But you've worked on that throughout those games, so it really is about pulling all those things together and producing it. You know, one game before you're going to start the real thing.
And are you at any point getting vibes off the manager about lineups and stuff? Are you thinking, right, well, there's 3 games to go before the start of the season, and I'm not in the team? Is that a worry? And then especially in this kind of a last game scenario, are you thinking, I really need to be on that team sheet so I start the season?
It's interesting you say that because. And I don't want to sound big-headed or anything, but I never felt that because I was always starting.
Good lad.
In that, right, this is my spot, and I'm playing, and that's that. And I kept playing. Whereas now it's very different, obviously. Big squad, and a lot of new players are there, so they're mixing up games and what have you. So back then, no, I always felt that I was playing, but you've got to always remember you have to play well. You've got to make sure you can maintain your performance. That's the way you stay in the side. Whereas now, I agree with you in that these 45-minute games or hour games, I think there'll be a few boys looking around at each other thinking, well, is it you or is it me that's playing? So hopefully...
Surely at this point, has he not told them? You think, like, when we get to Everton, this is going to be my starting 11? Because you saw a little bit of it, like, for example, against Villarreal. Strauch started that game and then swapped for Bijol at half-time, assuming that's because Bijol obviously needs the minutes still, but he's not going to be starting the Everton game because he's suspended. So they're bedding in that, maybe the majority maybe of that lineup. Yeah,
it's Biol, by the way.
Biol.
Biol. And I think he's a really good player as well. I've seen him quite a bit for Udinese. I commentate on Serie A, and he is a player of character. He really is a big character in that he's a leader. He's there blocking shots. He's there heading things away. He's cajoling everyone around him. So I have high hopes for Biol. I think he's going to be really good. But yeah, I think it's because of that first game. Clearly, he can't start because he's suspended.
Yeah, I saw him in the Villarreal game. I mentioned on the show through the week that his first act was to have the centre forward bounce off his back when a ball went over the top, which I quite like the look of.
Which is quite funny because the centre forward was really powerful, yet he still bounced off Biol's back, which I like. I mean, the boy's a unit, he really is, and hopefully in both boxes, he'll be there attacking that ball.
Yeah. And did you see that Villarreal went to Arsenal after they played us? Beat Arsenal with the vast majority of the same team that played against us. So according to playground rules, that means we're better than Arsenal. So is it game 2? We've got Arsenal. 3 points in the bag.
So that's fine. So that's 6. Yeah. Wow. This is straightforward, this.
Yeah, straight out the gates against Everton, 6 against Arsenal.
I love those playground rules. You start bargaining with yourself thinking, Champions League now, easy. Easy peasy.
What else have you spotted then in terms of the defence, Tony? Because that was obviously your area of operations. Is there more you can tell us about Biol? What about Gudmundsson as well? Obviously being a left back. I'm supposing you've got a particular eye on that part of the field.
I have. I think it's really important getting to the Premier League, the type of teams you're going to be playing against, and obviously the players you're going to be playing against. And I look at that and thinking, wow, you've got some of the best wingers in the world, best strikers in the world, and so you're going to have to win your battle. And so against these players, you're going to have to defensively be really, really sound. And that's why I suppose you go to the Firpo thing, because looking at that sort of level, you have to be extremely good defensively as well as attacking. Can you then offer something else going forward? And it's going to be tough. We are not going to have 70% possession this season, simple as that. So defending 30% of the time against championship teams compared to 65, 70% of the time against Premier League and the best wingers is very, very, very different. And hence what you're seeing is players coming in that can do that sort of job. And I think certainly Biol is one of them. Absolutely, he's played in Serie A, played against some really good sides. But I also like the fact that the ones we are buying, the players that we are buying, as well as being obviously physically big, it's their character, and that's really important. That's really important. I talked to Ethan Ampadu last week before the Villarreal game, and a question was put to him about how the new lad's settling in. And the first thing he said to me, he goes, you know what? It is amazing that they feel like they have to prove something to us to be part of this really strong group. And they're not walking in as if, you know what, here I am, I'm a big time player. They're going, no, we're going to work really, really hard because we want to be part of this group. And that to me talks about the right sort of characters that you need, because we're going to have to be in it together this season, aren't we? They're going to have to look at each other and think, I can rely on you. And because sometimes it's going to be tough, we're going to have to be resilient, see different moments through. And I think those sort of players, as well as excellent technical players, I think you need that character as well.
And with that kind of specifics on characteristics, is that part of the recruitment process then, as well as can this player physically and technically do it? Is there like an interview sort of situation?
Yeah, well the All Blacks famously had a no dickheads rule, didn't they, in the squad? Like we will not. It was called that. It was the no dickheads rule. Yeah. We will not have any dickheads in this rugby squad. And I wonder if that's part and parcel of what they're doing as well. They're examining that.
I would say they must be.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, and it's really vital because you can look at as many numbers as you want and stats, and I can give you every single number, but what's the intangible? What's the thing that I can't touch? And that is that character bit. And so you need to find that out. And that will be part of clearly asking around, but also, talking to the player. Are they going to buy into everything that you stand for? Are they really coming here for the right reasons? And all those things. And I'm sure the club have worked really hard on that.
You mentioned before about the difference between dominating championship games and being on the back foot maybe a little bit more in the Premier League and having to adapt to that. What's the different skill set that you're looking to tap into there? Because we saw, for example, going back to the left backs, Junior Firpo happy to scamper up the field and float around sometimes as a false 3 in the number 10 position. Presumably, it's going to take a lot more positional discipline this coming season. Is that the skill set you need?
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you look at Goodmanson. I love the way he can get forward. You know, he's a real athlete as well. He can fly up and down. He's very comfortable on the ball, but his positioning is excellent, and knowing when to go and when not to go is a skill that you better learn really quickly, because as soon as we get caught out or pass the ball in the wrong area and lose it, in the Premier League, if you do that, say 6 times, you're going to get punished for 4 of them. The Championship, you might get away with all 6. You don't know. But in the Premier League, you're not getting away with anything like that. So that sort of stuff is going to be really important. But I can see those players like Goodmanson, you know, the couple of times he flew forward, but quickly, you know, he gets back as well.
Did you spot tactically what we were doing against Villarreal? It seemed to be at times the defence was quite narrow. And because I noticed we were susceptible to 2 things that Daniel Farke pointed out, actually. One was the chipped ball over, but the other was the crossfield ball in behind the fullback.
I'm not sure that is actually a tactic. I would more say that there's 1 or 2 players not being in the right positions,
right,
to be honest. And I think Daniel Farke was relaying that to the one particular player, which I won't have to mention. In the first half, he was trying to explain to him, you know, you're kind of in the wrong spot. So no, it wouldn't be a narrow thing. If you look at, obviously, Ampadu sitting in front of the back 4, that's always really important. But then the Longstaff and the Stack, the ability to run forward as they can do, and as well as pass and carry the ball, you know, absolutely vital. So those 2, you know, going up and down will be really key, because you're going to have to get support, you know, into the striker and not just from a wide area.
From a left back point of view as well, you think about centre backs trying to form a relationship. Is it the same thing with your right hand side defender as well?
Absolutely.
Thinking back to Sterling.
Yeah.
So Goodmanson and Bogle are going to have to figure out as well. If Bogle is right on the edge of the 18-yard box, Goodmanson's going to have to figure out where he is supposed to be at that moment.
Well, if that's what the manager wants. And I say that because sometimes maybe they can both get forward and Ampadu's always going to be sitting.
Yeah.
So 3 at the back. If they play 1 up top, you don't need, you know, 4 players. So it will be a tactical thing, and no doubt the manager will get that sorted out. But you're right in that you always have to look at your co-defenders and understand where everyone is. And I always used to play in a back 4 mainly, and then the 2 centre halves. It's really important that if you want to cover them, you don't drop. You go inside and allow them to always be the last man, because one of those 2 will call whether to stand up or whether not. But so it's all those sorts of things that you need to work on in training all the time, your positional sense. And we did that a lot under Hal Wilkinson, certainly, and every manager, you know, you would do that. But it isn't just the guy in front of you, the guy next to you. It could be the whole line of 4. It could be that midfield area.
What did you notice structurally in that first half, particularly against Villarreal? And again, Daniel Farke hinted towards it in the post-match, where he was saying we were working a lot on structure in that first half. It looked a lot more solid in the first half, and then a little bit freeform. It got a little bit looser as the game went on when the exchange of goals happened. Did you spot them working on solidity? Because there was a point at which I think I counted the number of attackers in that first half, and as you say, in the Championship, maybe they're both bombing forward and you're playing effectively, you know, 3 or 4 at the back and then 6 attackers. And with Bielsa, it was sometimes like 7, wasn't it? Maybe even 8. Maybe like 5 and 5, let's say, in the first half there against Villarreal. Just playing with those the numbers game, I suppose.
It is, and it's getting that right balance of when to go and when not to. And then what you also saw against Villarreal is they're a very good technical side. And after the first 20 minutes, I thought they started to settle down and really knock the ball around. Whereas the first 20, I thought we were physically on top. We looked good. But then you're going to get these moments in games where you have to be resilient. You haven't got the ball. And how then defensively do you fill the holes? And that's what I was kind of looking at in that 3 in midfield. Where are they going? The wide men, how do they kind of then help and supplement the midfield and their fullbacks? Where are the gaps? And that's when, you talked about the crossfield ball. That one was a problem. That needed sorting out.
I was going to say, it looked to me like we had the middle of the pitch on lockdown, particularly with Ampadu sat there and he was actually dropping in sometimes as well. It was just those wide areas where you saw just a little bit of vulnerability. And I don't know if that's just to do with Goodmanson being a new boy and Isaac Schmidt wandering off, as I'm sure you were hinting towards.
Me? No.
Before, no. But yeah, it felt like the middle part of the field was very, very solid, but we were just a little bit susceptible out wide.
You're absolutely right, but that's not only just the fullbacks. You look at the guys in front of them, as well, because they're also a pair.
Because they tend to drop out and cover the fullbacks when they go upfield, don't they? As well?
Exactly. So you just got to look at all of that, and I remember when I was at Leeds playing with Gary Speed in front of me, and Speeder would always come to me and say, right, how are we going to sort out today? Let's look at the player that we're against. Where do you want me? How do you? I'm thinking, mate, you're like a dream to me. You're asking me where I want you. It's like incredible. So that's the sort of relationship that you need with the guy in front of you as well as the guy alongside you.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe that's why Laji Ramazani has not featured quite as much as some of the other players in the squad, because he doesn't necessarily have that discipline, or didn't display it in the early part of last season.
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because
he's a game changer, isn't he? But does he have the discipline to kind of?
And I would flip that on its head and say that's probably why Aronson does get in, because he is disciplined. He does exactly all of the things that the manager is asking him to do. But then you're looking at, but what about the other side that maybe largely can do it? So you're right, it's a balance. If you can get them to do both, then you got one hell of a player.
Yeah, and they're probably not playing for us at this stage of the Premier League. If you've got complete players like that, well, it's a £50 million player, isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think you look at actually Somerville was kind of like that to start with. I thought that great ability, you can see that, but defensively, when you just switch off for half a second, well, it's too late. Your player's gone. Then I thought actually he got better and better at that. And then, of course, off he goes for whatever it was. But that side of the game is really important as well. And I think that will be elevated in the Premier League.
Yeah, what did you make of Aronson against Villarreal? He was one of the better performers, wasn't he?
I thought he was probably the best performer.
Do you think he benefited a little bit more from being pushed outside rather than tucked in a number 10 position?
Well, rather than starting there, sometimes it's easier to float in there rather than absolutely always have your back to goal or someone, bearing down on you. But what you do know, he's going to give you 100%, absolutely, and he ran his socks off. I was actually wanting him to come off a bit earlier because it is pre-season. Let's not get anyone injured. If anything wrong with anyone, I mean, Goodmanson went down, didn't he, as well? 15 minutes to go, got a knock. I thought, you know what, just get him off.
Yeah, sharp intake of breath.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, left back, don't get him off. But anyway, he got back up and he was fine. But I thought Aronson put a great shift in and looked very, very good indeed.
He's played really well on the rare occasion that he has started over on the right. There was a game in his first season when we were in the Premier League against Crystal Palace. I think we ended up losing the game. But our goal came from some wonderful work from him down the right-hand side. Mm-hmm. Maybe just with the way that he's been trained, having slightly less of the pitch to play with, i.e. being on the right-hand side, will help that sort of frantic nature of all the things that he does really well.
Yep, it's always a combination of the players around you as well. So if you think that Bogle will start to go flying forward, I mean, that would help, Aronson as well, because I don't see Aronson too much going, down the wing and crossing, but that's what Bogle can do. So, that might be a good combination. But yeah, I would never look at a player in isolation. It's how he then works, within that team. And let's be honest, that's what Daniel Farke has to work out, that best combination.
What about the rest of the new boys as well? Mecca, Stack, Longstaff all seem eminently sensible signings to my eye. What do you make of them all so far?
I think they've signed very well indeed. What you have to kind of realise is that we only have a set amount of money that we can spend. We'd love to spend what we want, but we can't. So in that set amount, we know how many players we need. It is not 4 or 5. It is 8, 9, 10. So making sure we don't overpay for someone, which allows us to actually buy the depth that we're going to need to have a really good chance of staying up. And that's, I think, what we've been doing. And we've bought some really good players. Yes, we've got that physicality, but we need a bit of experience as well. These guys, obviously, Stack, a German international, just the way that he plays in his physicality, the way he gets his foot in is brilliant. But Longstaff has got Premier League experience as well. Because if we try and buy every player from the Premier League, we will have no money left after player 3. Yeah. Is that right? So we can't do that. And we also know, however, from previous experience, that if we go and buy everyone from the Austrian league, we're not going to work. That's not going to work either, is it? So it's always a balance, and where can we get value? And that's what we've been trying to do. Yeah. And also we aren't. So when we're going fishing in the pool of buying players, we aren't the first ones in there. We're having to wait. We're having to wait for the big boys to go and get whoever they want. And after that, we'll pick up those bits of value. And that's where I think the higher up the pitch you go, the more that's going to come into play. And it's proven that. We're going to have to be patient and wait for these one or two players to drop. Then there'll be a domino effect. And hopefully then we get our man at the right price that gives us a great chance.
There's always an anxiety, though, with the fans, isn't there? But, I mean, they did a lot of business quite early, but the season is really close now. And fans are saying, we still need difference makers. Why haven't you gone out there and got them done yet? Is that just...
Absolutely.
The nature of the market?
I agree with them. And I'm thinking the same way, and I'm sure the club are thinking the same way as well. But it's the nature of the market, absolutely. There'll be... I think Daniel Farke's been vocal in saying what he needs. I think he seems to be quite happy everywhere. Maybe fullback now if Schmidt does go. And then, of course, the difference makers at the top of the pitch, and they'll be working extremely hard. But we just need 2 or 3 other teams to get their business done, and that will then filter down to us. So I think back to... Who was the one that went really late? Was it Rafinha? We ended up getting...
It was almost October because it was post-COVID, wasn't it? I think. Yeah.
The season had well started.
Well started. Yeah. We got him for 17 million or something, and look what he turned out like. So I get you. In an ideal world, he should be here. They all should be here now, going through everything. But I'm sure they're doing what they can.
And the Pai Xiao thing hurt, didn't it? Coming close to that.
Yeah.
And not quite getting that one over the line.
Yeah. But I think it's probably right that we try and get what they call them stretch signings, don't they? Ones that we think, we might have a go, but we probably won't get them, but let's give them a go. And you've got to try these things. You've got to try these things. So they have. That one didn't quite come off. Let's see if one does.
Yeah, but I think the frustration from fans then comes from the fact it's always the looking for the perfect Goldilocks situation, isn't it? Right, okay, we've missed out on that one. Why are you not ready to get the next one? Why are you not signing him tomorrow, kind of thing? It
is, and it's also the internet age as well. If this was 30 years ago and we didn't know that Pai Xiao was an option, you don't want what you knew you were never going to have. But it's interesting. And what about Lucas Perry? Have you seen a lot of... I've seen some highlights videos online. He looks like a brilliant shot stopper. Have you commented on any of his games?
I haven't, because, Champions League for a start. We weren't in the Champions League, were we? And like you, I've looked through videos. For me, he looks... imposing.
Yes. Do you know what? That's really funny. That's exactly the word that came into my mind when you were searching for a word then. Yeah. The word came to my mind was imposing. He looks big.
He looks big, confident, in charge. I like that. I like that. So we don't know. Let's see how he goes, and we'll find it out. But I look at him initially and think imposing. And then when I heard a couple of his interviews as well, and the things he was coming out with, I'm calm, I'm in control. I'm thinking, I like this guy. Yeah. All I know is he's 6'4" or 5, and he'll do for me.
Yeah, he can punch a ball the length of a football field. I can't get over that.
And that's the real quiz.
It's
but why? Anyway,
kettle over a pub and all that. Yeah. But something in his brain, and we know keepers are all slightly tapped.
Well, they have to be.
They have to be.
Yeah.
In his brain went, do you know what? The best option for me here is to volleyball this one up the field for the forward who's running off the shoulder of the last man. I was like, I like that.
I want to see it. I want to see that to Dan James and him get the zoomies and 1-0 to Leeds United.
Even if he gets the ball, he bowls it up into the opposition half. I want to see Dan James bearing down on a forward, even if it goes up for a throw or whatever. I just want to see it. I think
you're going to see it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm looking forward to seeing it, and hopefully he can get some minutes tomorrow.
Yeah. How do you think about the way Leeds are shaping up? And we spoke before about expecting to be on the back foot a little bit more rather than on the front foot as it was in the Championship. Do you expect that to translate into a more counter-attacking style in the Premier League? Are we trying to look for forwards who can hold it up if needs be as an option? Are we looking to get in behind teams? What do you think? I suppose the attacking signings will inform that a little bit more. But
they will. But I think even last year in the Championship, where are we looking to improve? And that'd be the first thing to start. So for me, I still think we have a lot of improvement to go from set pieces. Whether it's corner kicks, free kicks, I don't think we took advantage of them anywhere near enough. That's something that has to change this Premier League. So hence why we've got the bigger, taller players that will attack those balls, but also that resilient side of things. So we will still try and play the same way. It's not as if we're not trying to keep the ball. We're not suddenly going to launch it up to the top to a big man. We will always try and play the same way, but what we do know, we can only play that way in lesser parts of the game. And the other parts of the game will be the stuff that we didn't have to do much in the Championship, and that's the resilience, the holding on, the keeping the ball in front of you, the moving left to right, keeping those spaces in between each other nice and tight, all that sort of stuff. So there's a balance. We'll still try and play because Daniel, that's the way he likes to play, but I think there's always a balance to be had.
I think we've always looked quite exhilarating under Farke when it's been a slightly more counter-attacking style where teams have either pressed us or tried to play a little bit. It's I don't know if I'm just trying to talk myself into this.
No, and I'm with you because I actually thought that one of the best games we played pre-season was the first game against Manchester United. In that at times when we broke, we looked good. I thought we looked very good.
Looked confident, didn't we?
Looked confident, looked good. I think then you're playing against SC Verl, who are third division, what have you. Suddenly we had a load of the ball and we didn't quite look the same, fluidity, what have you. So I'm with you there. I think that the style of the players that we've got, that might be the best option.
The idea of Bogle and James on the counter-attack is brilliant. It's so tantalising that just getting a couple of passes right in the middle midfield, springing them over on the right-hand side. It's going to be really exciting. Question I did have though, that the players who were here last year who were used to having an awful lot of possession, when that changes and they're having to be more patient without the ball, is that a big thing to change in your mind? Will these players be feeling frustrated?
And that's a good point in that they need to be taught not to be frustrated.
Yeah.
In that,
how easy is that though?
Not so easy. No, of course it's not easy. And if you've been used to dominating 100 points in a season, this, that, and the other, and suddenly it's all going to be very, very different. But I don't think they expect to be the same as last season.
No.
I think they expect it's a challenge. I think they expect that they want to prove themselves. They've had the opportunity to prove themselves and rise to the occasion. And then I'm looking at the ones that were here last season and maybe have been at other clubs as well. I'm not sure any of them have really proven themselves as I'm a Premier League player week in, week out for years and years and years. So that they've all got something to grab onto. And they realise that. I think they'll realise that. So no, I think they will know what is expected. They'll know what's to come, and they'll be listening very closely of how to work as a team to get those results.
Who would you go for in your midfield against Everton? $64,000 question. It's more like £100 million question.
Well, to be fair, you're right, and that was the interesting thing when the team kind of came out. I'm thinking, right, who's the midfield three? Who's the midfield three? Who are you going to go with? And you look at obviously Ampadu as a holder and Longstaff one side, Stack the other. Then you think, but Tanaka, how can you kind of leave him out after how he's been playing? Groove, I think, is kind of slightly on the outside of that group, but that's what I would say. I would stick to that three at this point in time. But let's see what happens with the game tomorrow. It might look something completely different.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Farke's going to try and stay in games and control them as best as possible where the situation allows and the opponent allows. And if you're in it by 70 minutes, you could then try and win the game, which I mentioned on one of the shows this week. I think that's kind of what informs his 70-minute sub behaviour, is that get the game won in that last 20 to 25 minutes when it starts to just open up a little bit. And we saw it against Villarreal. That's when it started to get a little bit more exciting. It was very controlled and measured in that first half. That midfield structure was dominant, and very few gaps appeared. And suddenly it all started to be getting pinged all over the place towards that second half. I wonder if that's in his thinking. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But also I think we just needed a bit more of the top third of the pitch to unlock stuff. The Stardust. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. We need a sprinkling of Stardust. And I think we all see that. The club see that. The manager sees that. And I think even the players see that. They're waiting for one or two to come through to finish it off, and we all got to be patient, and we expect that to happen. Have you spoken to Farke much in pre-season? If you've been doing the comms from back at base, no, then always back at base. Yeah. So not yet. No. But just listening to him and listening to the people around the place, I think everyone's excited. Everyone's trying to build up in the right way. We're trying to give ourselves the best possible chance of success. And they're all working really hard, to achieve that. But there's still work to be done. A lot of work to be done. Does it feel to you like, and I don't know, I get this sense, again, don't know if it's just in my mind, but the idea that nobody's getting too carried away. Everyone knows what this season's going to be all about. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a battle, and everyone's gearing up for it. And I'm glad you said that, because it is a mindset shift.
And a lot of it, you talked about the players. Well, I would say more important, it's the fans, because there will be times where it will be difficult. And I can't stress enough the difference that our fans, can make in football matches. So anytime that they kind of understand that, okay, we haven't had the ball for 5, 6, 7 minutes here, but there's a plan here. When we get it, then we're going to use it well, and then off we go again. So it is really important. But you're right. I now talk to people, and we're not talking Europe. We're not talking kind of top 8 or top 9. We're thinking, you know what? I might take 17th here and now. Yes, please, thank you, and move forward.
Mm. Do you think we'll survive, or is it too early to tell?
Quite honestly, I think it's too early to tell, simply because we haven't quite got our final players in. Simple as that. I think we've got a great base. I think the players we've got and the money we've spent have been really good value. But the difference will be at the top of the pitch, and we'll need some reinforcements there.
Is it goals that keep you up? Silly question, really.
No, well, I think goals win matches, defences keep you up.
Right.
So I think we've got that bit. But what you can't do is think you're going to shut every team out. You're going to concede some goals, and so you can't think that they've scored, that's it now. We can't score. So we don't think like that. But we need something to give us that lift in the final third.
Yeah, and just on that sort of final point, then, do you agree with the sort of the numbers that are being circulated? Maybe another 3 to 4 players to come in. What are you looking at? Are you looking at out wide, number 10, fullback cover, striker? Those 4. Do you think that does it?
Yeah. Those 4, or 3 of those 4. Yeah, if you get someone that can play a couple. But yeah, that's what it will be. Clearly, the fullback situation is important. If now Schmidt is going, so that leaves you one less. When Goodmanson went down and obviously Bogle didn't play, you're thinking, okay, who's going to play out there now?
It shone a light on the squad, didn't it?
Well, it did, all of a sudden, just like that. And that's what we certainly don't want. So we're thinking at centre-half, we're okay, because you can see how many we've got, or 1 or 2 can drop back in there. That's great. In midfield now, we've got 5 or 6 can play in there, so that's great. Keepers got 2, 3, 4, no problems at all. But where haven't we got that? And it's fullback and up top.
Right, we shall see. Let's get back together then when the season is underway and see how right we were with the 6 points on the board in the first 2. Hey, stranger things have happened.
They have, yeah.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And apologies, I couldn't actually do a podcast with you after we won the title, because I actually lost my voice singing and drinking on the back of the third bus as I'm touring around the city centre. Took its toll on my vocal cords, right. And I actually lost my voice for a couple of days. So I was going to, come in and say hello, but I couldn't. I had no voice. But wow,
to be honest, I needed a good rest after all. Well,
you weren't the only one. I mean, the age I am now, 3 days solid celebrating just doesn't work anymore.
Actually, I was going to say, what was it like to be around that? I guess that was what you were going to ask.
Exactly that, because me and Dan were together just outside the station when the buses came past, and we spotted you, and we got your attention. You might not remember it if you were drinking heavy from the well.
I remember you. That's who it was. Yeah,
I've got the video.
But how was it? Like, how did you get invited to that? I know you're part of the club and stuff, but I bet that was like the golden ticket.
Well, you know what? My overriding thought out of all of this is that it is the players of now. It's their time. It is their time. Celebrate. You don't know when you're going to win, if you are ever going to win something again. And so get out there and, enjoy it, boys. And they certainly did. So then to be invited along as well with a few other ex-players, with Eddie Gray and Don Matteo and a few of the lady players as well. It was just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And it brought back so many memories for me, because actually the last time that we did something like that through the town with that many people was in my era, in the end of the 92 season, when we went round to the city hall and was on the balcony and all that sort of stuff. But just to see everyone's face and how excited they all were, and it was amazing. So absolutely loved it. Loved to be part of it. It was all about the current players, but to be invited along, I was very, very honoured.
Is there just that tiny little bit of jealousy thinking, did it take you back thinking, I wish we just one more lap of the track? Could we, what was it like to feel that again? Just that sort of jealous eyes on these lads.
When you said one more lap of the track, I just remember Ethan Ampadu when we came back after 2 hours going, one more lap, let's go around again. Grab grab the microphone off him quick.
I need to lie down.
But was there just a little pang of jealousy thinking, I wish this was me again?
No, there wasn't. I was more honoured that I could just sit up there and enjoy it with everyone else. It was amazing, and I'd love looking forward and seeing the boys of today, give it plenty. Laji Ramazani, he can catch flares, by the way. Wow, the way he just catches flares and was singing away. It was brilliant. But then I also saw our owners, and everyone attached to the club at that level. For them to understand what it means, for them to get on that bus and look down at and hopefully they came away from that thinking, wow, we've got a responsibility to all those people out there to do the best that we can for this football club. And I liked it in lots of different ways.
And that responsibility is now to sign some players, please. Get us some attackers and we can stay up and we can be happy this season. That's all we ask. Tony, thanks. We'll do it again in a few weeks. Yeah?
Absolutely. Cheers. Thank you.
See you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.